Thank you for a station break. Welcome back. Wwise Up On Air, hands-on, beta 2021.1 edition. Pleasure to be here. Damian Kaspauer. If you've been following along, you know that it has been quite a ride as we have been giving you an overview of what's coming in Wwise 2021.1 and the upcoming beta, which we're hoping that you'll get your hands on here soon, because we're interested to hear what you have to say. I can't wait to dig into the chat a little bit and get a little bit more from folks and what they have to say and questions that they have. I lost visibility into the chat, and so can't see you there. We've got some folks who are helping to surface the good stuff, and I'd like to end at some point with some of your questions. Hope to answer those. And with that, I think we're going to jump back into it and see how it goes. So, before we were interrupted by the failings of technology in this day and age, we had powered through the new hotness that is object-based audio and the audio object pipeline in Wwise. So much there. And it's been, a topic almost the entire time that I've been at Audiokinetic, going on a year and a half, because this is a gigantic redefinition of how sound flows through Wwise and the level of precision that we're able to deliver, again, evolving from a channel-based format to this new audio object format that these spatial platforms are able to receive and position with a greater level of detail available to a channel-based format. Again, hundreds of objects in some cases, depending on the platform. And so that's a whole lot of sounds that can be precisely positioned and can leverage these spatialization filtering technologies, again, customized for a person and how they hear. We moved into the spatial audio features of 21.1. We talked about fit to geometry workflow for rooms and portals. This was awesome. It is absolutely going to speed up your workflows if you're working in Unreal with spatial audio, placing volumes throughout your worlds and levels. And then we looked a little bit into automatic aux bus assignment. Again, toggle on an aux bus based on the size of a room and automate the reverb for that room based on its size. So again, the full circle of just moving swiftly through the authoring process so you can get down to the cool part of tweaking it to make sure that it sounds the way you expect it to, whether you're angling towards the realistic representation of sound or you want to turn the knobs so that everything is on 11. Let's get that work out of the way, leverage some of these new automation techniques, and keep going to make it achieve your whatever you're trying to accomplish for the sound in your game. We talked about WAQL. Who said that 10 times fast? Wwise Authoring Query Language. Again, a new feature of the Wwise Authoring API, extending that functionality, giving you access to what's in the project, being able to surface that and use it in the case of WAAPI to extend your workflows, whether it's automating them or just making them fit for the way that you do your job. These are tools that we are making accessible to you to help you in your process. We looked a little bit at meter history. Just very simply, the idea that when you're profiling or when you're auditioning, that your meters are giving you feedback about what's happening in your project. And then, hey, if you're capturing that information, allows you to go back in time and pinpoint that same visual information that happened on the timeline, so that you can dig deeper and solve any problems or understand what's happening in your Wwise project better. We all know that it can get deep fast. And so providing you with the tools to be able to understand what's happening in your Wwise project, fundamental to what we're trying to do at Audiokinetic. We kind of left off at accessibility, and so I'm going to jump right back in there. Got a couple good questions that I think we'll be able to get to here in a few, and just a couple more things to talk over. So, UX accessibility. This is a big piece of what we do here at Audiokinetic. And I want to give a shout out to the experience team and the UI UX lead. They really are always trying to create clarity within the density of the Wwise interface and user experience. And in 21.1, just a lot of simple things have aligned to bring more clarity across the object view bar. It's hard to see in these images just how clean that is compared to older versions, but a lot of work done just to make life easier. The other cool thing, and I don't know how this translates across the internet, but font update. So we've adopted the new Seago UI font, and you can change to that in the project properties, as well as font sizes. Simple things to make it easier for you to author in Wwise. It's like making the jump from dark mode to light mode to dark mode, ketchup to mustard. Yeah, like when you make a change, like increasing the font size on some of these giant monitors that we have, it just makes it easier on your eyes. It makes it easier for you to see the clarity of what you're trying to accomplish. So look for that in 21.1. Let us know how it works. We're always interested to hear more about what your experience is. The music segment also got some usability improvements. Custom cues can now be colored. They can also be specifically defined. Let's take a look at that here for a second. So down here, switch over to my, so I got this for me, right? We'll make that a little bit bigger. I got this crazy 12-channel file here. I'm going to put myself a custom cue on this timeline. Let's even get zoomed in. See if I can get that magnifier. Yeah, kind of cool. I'll get zoomed in here. I got my custom cue up, and I can get this a color. Pink is kind of my favorite. I'm always torn between dark and light pink. What's it going to be? I'll go dark. And we can also, in the multi-editor, show the cue time down to the millisecond. So we can shift this back and forth. And this is something that we did not have that precisional accuracy through the segment editor to be able to define that kind of precision. It was hearing it from a few different people, the workflow of endlessly zooming to try and get to that millisecond accuracy, and that just wasn't a workflow that was going to last. And so we've brought this this ability to edit that with precision as well as color those flags. And again, just a usability step forward. So we're happy to have that landing in 21.1. This last one's for the hardcores. If you're working with source control in work units, our core team has been working to extend the ability to work with source control first by adding the ability to prompt for a checkout on edit, so your source control can alert Wwise when a change has happened, and it will immediately prompt you to check out that work unit. Additionally, the ability to load and unload the project, the power to choose whether you do it or not. Whereas historically, something changes underneath your project, it's a tough road. And so we can do a couple things. First of all, we can head over here to the UI. Yeah, we can head over here to the UI. We can unload this work unit. So now we're no longer, it's no longer loaded. It's no longer, if you've got a giant work unit full of dialog files, you don't need to keep that loaded. If it's bogging down the authoring application because you got 10,000 source waves in a work unit, you can unload it and keep it unloaded. You also have the ability to load that work unit on demand without doing anything fancy. There's no open and closed loop. We're just enabling that accessibility to be able to make those kind of choices without taking you out of your workflow. So great work from the core team on that. Like I showed, some cool ways of working with Wwise that just empower your workflow. Spoiler. So let's look a little bit at some of these questions that came in. I'm going to do a little digging, and if you have some questions out there, you're still hanging in there. We went over a ton of stuff. We're clocking on the 2-hour mark. I hope you had some hydration, or if you don't, I hope you're going to hydrate hard after this. Cheers. And let's talk about some questions. So get those cooking. Again, I lost visibility of the chat. That's a little bit unfortunate. But I got some folks surfacing those good questions, and I'm just going to dig back through here and see what we can do. I'm going in reverse order. Plans to scrub back the profiler and play back the audio. There's nothing in the 21.1 version of Wwise to do that. I think I speak for everyone when I say that would be super cool. As someone who has worked in game audio for a lot of years, it's absolutely something that as a community we feel would be very valuable. But nothing on that right now. So keep you posted. Can the automatic aux bus update at runtime? Let me unpack that question. Can the automatic aux bus update at runtime? Well, I don't know, but you can change the game-defined aux send at runtime through the SDK, and there in fact may even be a way to do that in blueprints. I don't know. But that said, I think it should start with, what are you trying to accomplish, and figure out whether the tools are in place for that. And if they're not, let us know. If there's some part of your workflow that you're trying to push through, but you just can't find the right solution for it. One of the things that I was fond of saying in my years of authoring in Wwise is that, most of the time, when the bright idea struck, I would dig around in Wwise for a while and most of the time land on a magic button that I might not have even known was there. So with that, I would say definitely look for that feature as part of the beta release coming up. See if that's the kind of thing that as part of your project you need, and then give us some feedback on it. We're listening and we're interested to hear more about what you're trying to do and how we can help enable that through Wwise. So good question. Thank you for that, and I encourage you to dig deeper to see if the answer is out there. Is there a new automated way to balance Wwise reflect and late reflections? This is a great question and something that I skipped over in this presentation, but digging into the What's New Beta 2021.1 edition blog that just came out, you'll see that we have added a new spatial audio CPU limit, which allows for the dynamic balancing of rays used for reflect. So a short answer to your question is yes, that functionality is there. We've also added some metering so that you can see that over time, how it's scaling. So definitely dig into that and yeah, let us know how it works, because that's definitely something on our mind is how can we do all the cool things when there's resources for it and back away from that when there's not. So that's what we're thinking there. Time to first reflection RTPC not in use. What does that mean? Great question. So one of the features of the automated aux bus pipeline that I didn't dig deeper into is the ability to specify RTPCs that connect to the room verb settings or reverb settings for high frequency damping, decay, and early reflections. So dig a little deeper into the documentation for the 2021.1 beta when it comes out. But what you can do is you can connect these parameters between Unreal and the reverb on an aux bus and get that dynamic interpolation of those properties. So great question. Thank you for giving me a chance to explain it. I hope it landed. And if not, dig into that documentation, because this is a powerful way that you can bring a higher level of dynamism and dynamics to that reverb interplay. So it's not just set it and forget it, this is what it is, but it's dynamically interactive within the world using these RTPCs. So definitely try that out. Digging back a little bit, there were so many good questions, and it is a testament to y'all's intelligence that these are so good. Let me see what else we got here. Okay, those got forwarded. I love this from Jesse. I know I should be stoked about object mixing and spatialization, but the thing that has me crying for joy is WAQL. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And folks who haven't experienced the power of WAAPI and WAQL or extending the functionality of the authoring application, once you know it, it's pretty darn cool. Let's see what else we got in here. So many great questions. Concerning metadata, does Wwise follow any standards such as ADM? So ADM is a metadata source format, I believe, and right now Wwise does not does not maintain any source metadata authored on an audio file. So no as a source format. And I think the door is open to the future of what standards we can work to support based on the needs in the community and based on the evolving needs of this technology, because I think we're all still standing at this doorway of object-based audio. The education is out there. You can dig into articles about it. People are talking about it, and the technology is just finding its way into the hands of folks out there, especially in the case of Wwise with 21.1. And so it's this technology piece that really will enable the next phase, which is that creativity phase. And there are a few folks who've been living on that cutting edge creatively. And head of product here at Audio Kinetic, Simon Ashby, had a great presentation at Game SoundCon earlier this year, which should be out there in the world somewhere. And if not, we will be bringing it to you in the future. And he was talking specifically about lessons learned from developers who are authoring objects interactively in some kind of best case scenarios. And I think what I'm saying is that we're on the threshold of that. The education piece is there. The technology to empower the creativity is falling in place. And we're just starting to have these best practices we can lean on, as well as the tools for people to figure out whether those are the right techniques for them in this new object audio-based workflow, right? So great question there. I'm digging a little deeper back here because, oh wow, that was like 2 hours ago and it was beautiful. Is it possible to adjust HRTFs within the user interface? Can I access tools to alter HRTFs in order to get the best HRTF for me? And the answer is no, not in Wwise. Those are technologies right now that exist at the endpoint and the spatializers. And again, the best example of that is on the PS5. In the audio settings menu, you have the headphones setting, and you can enable 3D audio. And when you enable 3D audio, you're presented with 5 options for HRTFs. And they make it kind of interesting, right? They say, we're going to play a sound, and we want you to orient that sound so that it feels level with what you hear. The way they put it is pretty keen, pretty smart. And so you scroll through those 5 settings and you find the one that feels like it sits right for you. And I think this is just the beginning, right? We've been given these 5 presets for the PlayStation 5, and this is a starting point. And this is kind of circling back to this idea that this technology is evolving rapidly, and it's in people's hands today. And so the question of how we will use that moving forward, how we will author for that, begins with Wwise 21.1 and this new object-based audio workflow. So we encourage you to come to this beta, get registered, give this a try, put your hands on it, put your ears on it. We think we've given you the tools that you need to understand it. We think we've given you the tools that you need to audition it and give it a try. And I can't wait to hear the creative ways that you leverage this technology to bring this new level of precision, of spatial awareness to your experiences, to elevate them for players. So I can't wait to hear what y'all get up to. I think we got a last one here. are we planning to do more videos on event-based packaging? So throwback to the Wwise Up On Air hands-on with event-based packaging that we did, I guess it was like early this year. It was a long time ago. Yes, we would like to revisit event-based packaging. That feature has had rapid iteration across 2019.2 releases, as we've gotten great feedback from developers who've started using it in their pipeline, have ran into issues, and we have worked tirelessly to bring stability to folks who jumped into event-based packaging. And we will absolutely be circling back with folks with some best practices now that we've got the ground under our feet. And definitely be hearing more from us in the new year. Speaking of that, it feels like the end of the year. So with that, I did want to just say, look at all those Christmas trees. And by Christmas trees, I mean that is a sweet waveform that Mads Moretti cooked up for us. It's got some great little tags on the tree-like representation. It's a beautiful sentiment at this time of year. I hope everyone is staying safe and staying good out there in the world. And I just want to end by saying thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking in with Audio Kinetic. We're excited to share this new and exciting version of Wwise with you. First with the beta coming up, and in the new year with Wwise 2021.1. So be good, be safe, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and have a happy new year. We'll see you on the other side. Thanks so much.